All right. And hi Shayna. Let's see. So I did these step outs a little while ago, and I was going back through some of the tangles that I did a long time ago. Yeah, and Tanya, it's so it's so fascinating. Yeah, how the the international group that we have going, and it's so much fun. All right, so this what I'm going to put 3 links in the chat, and so we're going to do boomerangs, but there's like 3 different tangulations, same thing for variation, that came with it, and I decided to do them all on separate step outs, because it was yeah, just because that's what I decided to do. I think I was trying to put it on because I have one step out that's just larger, and for whatever reason, which I don't remember what it was, I'm like, you know what? I think I need to like start these all fresh each time. So that's just what I decided to do. All right, and let me find that. Okay, so that's one. And then what I'll do for those that are new to the call, actually, yes, and what I meant to also say is, while you're saying hi, if you're new to Zentangle, I would love to know that, and if you're new to the call, I would love to know that too. Okay, there's number 2. And then so what? Oh no, did I get that in there? Yep, I did. Okay. And then the last one. And so this is a grid pattern, and what I'll do, and say for those new to the call, the reason I ask for we have everyone else shut down their cameras is so that way those with small screens can see easy, and also for that reason, so for those that are on phones or tablets, it's not as easy as if you're on a laptop or something to have the link open and for the step out and doing it at the same time. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'll hit all of them. Oh, and let's just do
Heather, this. I think I've got a solution.
Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah.
And there's not much of a shadow.
Okay, and that's all you did was do the dark
and turn the green, my desk light, turn the green shade all the way down. I mean, it's fairly dark for me to see, but it shows up great on the camera. So
yeah, but we have to find that. Okay, we have to find that medium of so you can see also. Let's see. Can we? Oh, the finished product. Well, you know what? I don't think I did this I think I just did the step outs, and I hadn't really. I played with it just in my little sketchbook. I don't know that I did. That's one thing I did not do with this one. So we'll look at that. We're looking at ourselves twice here. Let me. There we go. All right. And there we go. Sure we do. There. It's like, come on. All right. So this starts off as a grid, obviously, as I mentioned, and then to form the boomerang. So this is like her original way is doing a diagonal line, and I added just a smidge of a curve going up. But so as you see, the leftmost is going up from bottom left to top right, and then the next box is going the opposite direction, and so then that creates your boomerang. And so in this version, all of your squares in your grid are the same. And then when I did this first a long time ago, I had so much trouble doing this one, and I looked at it, I think it's so neat, and I wanted to just make it better and make it enjoyable. So then I decided, if I aim for the middle of that of the middle line here. You see within the third box, the red lines. So starting from that same corner and then going to the middle, and again, I added just a little bit of a curve. And you don't have to add a curve if you don't want to. It was just a smidge. And then again, opposite on the way down. So because that was my first thing that I had trouble with. Then the second one is after this, we're going to use the hollow bow technique. So that's drawing behind. So we're going from, we're drawing an opposite diagonal line from where we started, but we have to draw through what we did already. So, so that is somewhat fairly easy. Just, you have to pick up your pen when you reach what you've done. And it'd probably be easier when we demonstrate it, and then put it down on the way down. And so this, it's almost like what we've done already, but opposite. So, upper left to the bottom right, and then bottom right to the upper left. And then again, middle of that left side of the box down to that center point. And then that creates a boomerang. So then we have one in front of the others. And so this is just a 4 square, but you can imagine if you have a lot more, it just looks really neat pattern. And I colored in, the back one, but in this case, I mean, you could do whatever you want as far as the decorating goes. So, the back one could be one color, the top could be front, or it could be, another color, or just shaded in. Then there's the background to deal with if you want to. But this is her basic step out. Let's see if I just go this way. Yes. All right. So the first tangulation from this is where we're kind of have almost like they're stacked, or they're layered. So you have the left side or the right side is kind of like folded under each time. Oh, and I see where I goofed up there, and that's all right. I think I corrected it on my step out. The nice thing about, I hand do them, and if it's not too big of a boo-boo, then I can I can erase that. I shouldn't say that on the step out. Well, the world is different for Zentangle inspired art and step outs. So anyway, so you can see how these ones are layered. So this, you start off, it's the same thing, but all the diagonals are going the same direction, and then the back side is again all going the same direction, but it's the same concept. And then the third one is where we're flipping it. So that top row is exactly the same as what I showed first, but then the bottom one we mirror. So if you have more than, this, like I said, this is a 4 square. So if you're doing more than, you just have to remember you're alternating the direction, in each one. So with that,
actually, Heather, you could do a fourth one and layer it like you just did the third one with this one.
Oh, right, mirrored. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, now I'm going to have to do that step out. Okay, but that's a whole nother idea. And then so this one too, I don't know that you have to do. Well, for this one, if you want to have this effect where they're it's going opposite, you would of course have to have at least a row of 2 in your grid. Because I was actually picturing, and I think I might do that this morning. I was picturing in my head doing it kind of as a border. So I was debating between, well, I should do my squiggly border because Mom will do her straight border, and we'll do that. But I was thinking, because this could be a neat tangle to do just as a border. And that would be fun. So again, for those that are new, at least to the way I do things here, is I share them first, because that way, if you get an idea of how you want to do it, then great. And if we want to, just follow along and draw along, with what I'm doing, that's great too. So that way, there's no pressure. Except for me. So let's see. And my screen is being sort of weird. Okay, I'm on, so that's good. All right. I'm going to put my little choppy thing there. Okay, so debate. I think I will do what I was thinking. So
which means I have to do something different.
Well, or what were you thinking?
I was thinking a border. So
okay, you do a border and I'll do the other, and then I'll do the border tonight.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. I'll think on it.
No, but I was torn between doing my squiggly border and doing half things. So I'm gonna do that. But I think I'm gonna alternate. So that's what I've decided to do. So I'm sticking to it. I'm working on a white tile. And oh yeah, so I'm gonna do my squiggle. I did my 4 corner dots, which we normally do in Zentangle, and then I like to do a squiggly border because I like to do a squiggly border. And I'm just tripping on some stuff. All right, then. So I'm gonna start my grid, and actually this will be neat because I do want to have them. It'd be nice to have them kind of all together, and I think I'm gonna do a combination of all of them somehow. And we'll see how that works. Oh, maybe oh, that's what I'll do. In rows, and maybe in the middle I'll do the flip. That's what I'm gonna do. So let's see. So I'm making my grid, and I like to start in the middle and then work my way out. So that way, that way I don't have nice. Well, although this one will kind of look like that. A nice solid at the top, and then at the end we get the little remnants. Although this looks like, if I was going to draw another line, yeah, it would probably be right there. And so this is also the kind of the hollowbow technique is, so I've drawn where that line would be, but I'm only drawing where it would be. I'm drawing behind the frame. All right, now flip in the other direction. And this is where I always like, okay, hopefully I get squares, more squares than rectangles, but you know. However it ends up, and it's all good. Well, there. Yeah. Right. And all right. So actually, no, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to start. Where was my middle? Mm-hmm. Okay. So this direction. And
Heather,
then
you're kind of off screen. It's hard to see you.
I am. There we are. How's that?
Thank you.
Thank you, Inez. You know, for some reason, it's just really. I have to look and see. I don't know why it's doing what it's doing. Let me put this. Yeah, I'm gonna move that. I'll kick that tortillon off in a minute. All right. So, and I should have my little stuff outs right here in front of me as well. All right. So I was gonna start off with the second tangulation. So that I know, and I'm going to do that just in these middle ones. So that I remember was going from bottom left up, and then going the opposite. And I'm just turning my tile a little bit because that way I can have add this little bit of natural curve. And I'll do my best to keep that on. It seems like I have a feeling that the orientation of my camera is not landscape as I usually have it set to. That's what I'm shaking it as like I thought I had it. Okay, so there's the first. And then I'm going to turn my tile completely so that way, there we go. You do the opposite. And then on these partials, a lot of times I wait till the end, but you just have to imagine where that end is going to be so that way your curve looks natural. Now I was partly tempted to do, all of the same directions at the same time. So that would be like doing this and then skipping. But then I thought, no. That's just a recipe for disaster. Oh, okay. And then that next step was, as I mentioned, I found it easy to go from the middle of, where I'm aiming for, the middle little curve line back down to that corner. And I think because I think this was again one of the first tangles that I found, and said, oh, I'm going to try this, and not really understanding some things, at least for in my head. I hadn't thought about that, just, aim for the middle. And so I was trying to make it separated, and I just remember it being really frustrating. Okay, then, same thing, middle, but I flipped my tile because we're going backwards. Mine are ending up a little bit more straight, which is okay, than curved. They're a little combination. Yeah. All right. Then we're working behind. So if you've never worked behind, use the hollow ball technique. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to start right where I was at. And okay. All right. And then a lot of times I just was like, okay, let's just think about it. When I'm watching the little videos that I'm doing, and I'm talking with my hands, but I'm like prepping with my hands, and I'm like, that just looks so silly. But at the same time, I understand I understand what I'm doing. All right, so going from this corner down to that corner, and if you do it in a motion. Okay, so picking up the pen and then dropping it right on the other side, but keeping it traveling so that way you're not having to rethink and like, okay, where do I go? Is that lined up? Is it not lined up? If I could get these with a little bit of a curve in there, that one was better. And I think sometimes that's, for me, a little bit of what's hard is trying to have that curve, even if it's a smidge of one. Because like this one, it almost came out we're like starting, stopping, and then starting and stopping again. That's what having it in a continuous thought helps. Oh, I'm going to do the second part with this too. All right, so that was middle to the corner. Here we go. And I'll get that other side. Yeah, well, today is probably, it just looks like today is going to be a straight line day. It's just the curvy thing is just not happening apparently, but that's okay. And this I have to imagine, well, actually I'm going to come from here. We'll imagine where that half is, half point. All right, then.
I think I found a place where I have to put a raspberry.
Uh-oh, let's see.
Well, I'm doing mine on a diagonal, and I'm doing the first one, but
okay.
in this area as I'm going off the,
Oh, yeah.
it really got confusing. So I might have to put a raspberry at both
raspberry ends. or color, or that's if it's a particular section. So that's what's kind of nice is
I have a
you
better
can color
idea.
in.
Yes, Heather.
So it's like, yeah, when we have those places where we're like, darn, it's like mental note, and then after it's done, to go back and look and say, okay, is this a place where I can just fix it by coloring it in? Or a raspberry is always nice. All right, so now making sure I'm on here. Okay, now doing the opposites. And I'm trying to remember, because what's funny is in my head, it's like almost like I'm still feeling the frustration that I had when I first did this. And I know it was this hollow part more so than even the first part. It was especially getting this, the second one, and having it look like that half of a boomerang. And having it work and not looking horrible. I think also I was probably working on something that was too small, and probably too small for my skill set at the time.
Well, and you've always done your curvy borders, so you're always giving yourself more of a challenge
Right.
then you need to.
Well, now, yeah.
Because, that adds to it.
It does. Well, and that's, especially, because I'm trying to work on that part of me. All right. Yeah, and then what's kind of fun is it's like as I'm thinking like, well, what other ways? And there's 100 ways that we could decorate this besides the way that's on there, drawing lines. What's neat about drawing the straight lines, like is in the step out that I showed there with this last tangulation, was if you want to eliminate, so two ways. Coloring in can eliminate this line, so it makes it invisible when you draw those straight lines, and so you're essentially auraing that throughout. So that's kind of a neat technique. Also, I was just thinking, oh, you could do, well, although it wouldn't eliminate this. Although I have done this before where I do straight lines in the background. Ooh, maybe I'll try that. And but have it auraing, whatever the grid line is. And so it'll end up with, there'll be different, I'm going to try that. There'll be different.
Yeah, I'm working on a Renaissance tile, and I drew my original grid with the brown pen.
Okay.
So that would make it really interesting to aura that. I mean, it would look dimensional as well.
Yeah.
So I thought you were doing the second one.
No, I decided I was going to do the first one, so that way it's kind of in the center like that.
Okay.
And then I'll do, and then I'll just do, one or the other this way.
How are you going to fit it on that? You're going to have to make those other squares smaller.
No, I'm just gonna do like one row.
Oh, one half of it.
Yeah, because
Gotcha.
Looking back at it, the only one that it really matters to have two is this one, because you're doing that mirror. The other ones, it's the same thing on both. And then you could have one line, because I was thinking, yeah. And the effect would, I'm like, oh, am I right? Yeah.
Whatever
the effect would be, it would still be interesting. Like just if you just did, just the border. Just if you want to do this one, you'd have to have two rows. Yeah, and that'll be neat. And so this one, let's see. Okay. And so I'm going to do, let's see. We'll do that second. I'm still working backwards because that's also what I like to do. Who else likes to read magazines from the, the back forward? That's what, let's start with the third tangulation and then move up. All right. So this one was doing them all in the same direction. So that way it looked like they were, I don't know what you call that. They're like not interlocking, but they were layered. All right. So I'm just going to, so this one was all of the boomerangs were starting off going the same direction. And this one I really have to make up. Oh, that looks good. All right, then the halfway point. And all right. Oops. There. Have to even get that little bit right in there. And then we're doing the opposite way. So I'm just turning my tile so that it's easier. And it was right? Oh, now I need to look.
Oh, you know what? This one is easier to do.
Which one? That one?
Yeah, the one the second one, where it's much easier.
Because everything is in the same direction. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's funny is that it almost looks more complicated, but you're right, because we're just doing the same. Oh, wait, let's see. Oh, no, that's right. Okay. For a minute, I'm like, did I do that not right? No, I did. And, oops. Then here. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because you don't have to think so much. All right, now, and that's just so neat. Oh, so let's see. If I was doing, well, I'll have to figure out. Let's see. If I was doing the same thing, I would have I'd have those little legs here. That's probably it. All right, now flipping it. Ooh. But. Okay, so here's what I'm just trying to think. How can I do this? Oh, here's what I could do. Because I think, wouldn't it be neat? So on this last row, I'm gonna have it alternated, so that way the front isn't up here, but it's over here alternated. So I'm gonna start my boomerang from the left to right here. Oh no. All right, well, I guess I'm going to be doing it the same way as I did on the other side. Well, when you just start it one way, then just keep going. Oops. So never mind.
I had a hard time. I'm doing it in two different directions.
Yeah.
And I had a hard time when I went and turned my tile around to finish it, because all of a sudden my mind went, wait, which direction do I go? But I got it. But it's so busy looking that it's going to take some filling in or coloring or something to and I just had an idea, but to give it some depth and
Yeah.
definition, I guess, is the thing I want to say.
Yeah, and really on her step out, there wasn't really much in the way of say shading and stuff like that. It was just, filling in or doing a decoration. So that's where it's kind of like, okay, then we get to decide what we want to do. And I'm gonna, so I'm gonna go with what I had mentioned. I'm gonna just leave my maybe I'll color in with an actual color. But so I'm going to do the background different, and I'm going to aura, like I said, the grid lines in the direction that they're going. And yeah, and I'm just going to start with the middle, just cause. And I'm also working to have a light touch on this, so that way if they go a little bit wonky, then it's okay. And actually, I'm going to do this whole row first. It is nice. I like it when I get my hand to cooperate and allow it to just kind of just breeze over the top instead of the harder I don't want to say more deliberate stroke, because these are deliberate, but just where it can kind of bounce. And then it's just like, even if it gets a little bit weird, it's like the thickness isn't all the same because it's kind of bouncing over the top of that. And let's see. Okay. All right. So that's the one. Actually, you know what? I'm going to flip. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this, the same thing, but on the other side there. I'm just working to not confuse myself. Oh, that's asking a lot. right. It's almost like these like the mini, when I do it, it's like mini squiggly lines almost is what I feel like they are. Oh, this should have those two little legs. Oh, and and even just that looks neat. But I want to have those grid lines disappear.
Yeah, I'm doing sort of the same thing, but like I said, I did my grid in brown, so I am
okay. So that'll help.
it. And are you doing it in two different directions? Yeah, you are.
Yep.
You're a copycat, Heather. Oh no, I'm a copycat. This is another one that has just doing, I mean, it's a monotangle, basically. I mean, sort of. But it has limitless possibilities.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a tangle. Well, because like so in music you'd have theme and variations. This is tangle and tangulations.
I just have to figure out somehow to work in, and I think I just figured it out. No, maybe not.
And
I guess I should finish what I'm doing before I think about something else to do. Because that's when you look back at a tile and you think, oh my gosh, look there's a whole area I forgot to do.
Right. Oh, and so you just colored in on those sides there.
Yeah, that's where I made my mistakes. But now my thought is somehow I have to bring in, I want to bring in more black to balance what I've done. And you're
gonna color in the corners on those.
Yeah, I just might color in these corners just to. Oh, actually, I could do that.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Heather.
My pleasure. Anytime. Well, because that would be. I mean, it's unless there was something else, but
But
that I think is fun, where you could always just wait and just say, well, let me see how this turns, and then do you want to do.
Right, but this would balance the four corners, and then I still want to bring something in, but I don't know what yet, but I'll figure that out as I go.
Now I'm thinking too for the decorating of the boomerangs. I mean, besides coloring in solid, I mean, well, too, you could color in solid and then do something on top of it. Yeah, and actually, because I'm making this kind of busy in the background, coloring in solid, or at least one of them coloring in solid, might be better than, like I was picturing, like you could aura them, and that could look neat. Oh, there we go. I was like thinking, did I just do something not right? Oh, but I did miss a thingy right here. And it's just neat because it adds a little bit different texture. It's almost like in the background.
Right.
And because having it go all one direction is a nice texture. But doing this is just a little bit different texture.
There's this one pattern that I like to do in the background of a lot of things, and I don't know what it's called, but it's very similar to this, where you draw a grid, and then in the diamond shapes or squares, you aura going in different directions, and this is very reminiscent of that.
Yeah, is it the one that does it have like, is the grids like 2 lines?
Yes, 2 lines or 2 or 3 lines in each direction, and then you fill in.
Yeah. I want to say, for some reason, I'm thinking that starts with an N, but I don't know. I'll have to look that one up. We'll have to do that one.
I've done it for a long time, but I don't know the name of it. Oh, it really changed. Once you've even just filling in the background, it really changes the way the pattern looks. I bet we're going to get lots of different
I can't wait.
approaches to this.
Yeah, so part of me was thinking I might just do this in these middle sections and then do something different on the outer.
Well, you know, in the shading, you could just shade like you do hollow bow, where you go under,
Oh yeah.
shade where you go under and over. I mean, what else would you, but it sure helps making it not so busy.
Oh, you mean having a background?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, it can also depend on what kind of mood you're in and what you feel like. So if you feel like drawing lines, then you draw lines, and if you feel like drawing a million orbs, then you could, you put a little tipple behind there, or
Like I say, I'm filling in with the brown, but thanks to my eyesight and the fact that I'm don't have much light, I'm not even trying to aura it with real evenly parallel lines. I'm just more or
right.
less filling it in with
Oh,
random lines.
yeah. So Lynn, an orb is just a circle. We just use the word orb because a circle has too much pressure. And so it doesn't have to be perfect. And so, yeah, so actually, so here's what I was thinking, because I was watching, well, as I was looking for some, other things to do, and I'm gonna do this in inside these ones. So I'm going to do mine a little different. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a kind of a big aura, sort of like that, and I'm going to color this in with the black, and then I'm going to put orbs on either side. She called it I think it was in, I'm trying to remember which project pack it was. Yeah, and so the orbs then, yeah, so it's just, it, like I said, it's just essentially circles. So like this, you can either use them to fill in, or like this, I'm doing them in a row, but having them graduated to fill in the space.
The only reason you call them orbs is because orbs can be egg-shaped too.
That's right. That's what I said. Yeah, a circle is just too much pressure. But so as I was looking at something, and so moon pie, maybe somebody posted something, and so I went to look it up, and it's like, okay, there's no step out or anything, and she, but in this project pack, I think it was in this, I think it might have been in this latest one. She references it, or Maria does, and but I still couldn't quite get what she was doing, except for and who knows, it's like, well, let's see, is that it was just like some kind of a center, and then orbs around that, and maybe something else, I don't know. I hadn't finished watching the videos to see, and I'm thinking, well, if I can't get this here looking good, I might just fill the whole thing in, or I should say looking how I want it, not looking good. Oh, that kind of looks neat. I just need to make this inner thing well, that might, I'll have to do every other one, really, because if I do every one, then that's gonna look,
Yeah, they would run into
too
each
busy.
other.
Yeah, and that would just like a mess.
They wouldn't have the definition that you want.
Right. Oop. And there we go. Although I could maybe just put, the center thing in or something. I don't know. But that's what's fun, is that now we just get to play with, how do we want to decorate, and using all of our tangle ammo, art in our all our tangles in our arsenal, and techniques it kind of looks neat just even without the little orbs. But this, the trick is, how wide were these, and that's where I was running into a little bit of challenge, because if they're too small, then it's really hard to fit to fit this middle section in nicely. But that's okay. All right. And that 2 kind of makes that the middle grid line in some of these just a little bit invisible too when you're putting these orbs in like this, or just coloring in. That of course makes it invisible. And it sounds like Mom is shading because I'm not looking at the screen.
Can you hear me slapping my pencil down? Is that what you hear?
No, I just hear. I just hear.
Scratch, scratch, scratch.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so or we're using a pencil. It's like when I teach lessons, and we would have our solo and ensemble, and I would have the kids practice with their nerves on, and I said so that way when they got in front of the judge and they all of a sudden start hearing that of the pencil on the paper. It's like, why can't they use ballpoints or something? Because it's that nothing sets your nerves off like that. So I think I was so I would have them just play, and I would just start like scribbling, just so that way it's like, so just don't pay attention, focus elsewhere. Oh, so that looks kind of. And actually, I'm thinking I'm not sure if I want to. What I want, I might want to do something in that background, because now it seems like it's just naked without anything in the background.
Yeah, but wait. Well.
Yeah, just wait and see.
Wait and see. Yeah.
I could. Yeah, because it's one of those. I could continue that, or I could. You could do. Just with the pencils, like we use the pencil for shading. You could also use it for coloring in, right?
I shaded around the center ones.
Ooh, nice.
And then I shaded these like you do Halabow, just on the one side.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess what I'm going to do, I'm just going to darken these points, and I'm not going to worry about bringing the black in anywhere else. I'm just not going to worry about it.
I'm going to fill these guys in with just big orbs.
There's another thing, other than it's just a piece of paper,
right?
Is it is what it is.
Yes. And then we just work with it. And what I like, it actually, I say, well, yeah, and that's on the call, because I you put a post up about, which I love that post with, putting tangles together, and it got me thinking, it's like, because it's like, sometimes we don't think. Some of us, I know, I usually have to think a little bit more for that, but what's nice is when you do things with contrast. So, this is pretty light, and I still think I'm going to do something in the middle, but having that light dark contrast, or so this we have more sharp edges, and straight lines. So adding orbs is a nice, something else to do that adds that contrast to what else is there. And it's almost like I don't know that there's, and it also is a personal taste thing too.
Well, somebody had posted, and I don't remember, the one person who is like working in making a journal with all the different patterns, and she mentioned something about she hasn't tried putting them together yet.
Right.
A lot of the times you do, like, this is a basically a mono tangle, one tangle, and most of the time you do maybe 2 tangles. But what I like to do when I'm putting tangles together is, especially when you do like a scribbly string,
Mm-hmm.
that's where you kind of have to think, but not a whole lot of thinking. I like to balance, like you said, rounded shapes with angular shapes.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want a whole bunch of rounded shapes all together in every section of your string. So you kind of balance it with different ones. And that's sort of what you're doing.
Yeah. And just, it's just one of those things where I think as like a thought process, that's where my head goes. It's like, okay, I have a lot of light, so I need to add something solid color, so that way there's that, I don't say black and white, but that, that contrast.
Oh, you know what would do that with that, Heather? Fill in. I'm pointing at my TV.
Yeah, right. Yes, as if I can see.
Fill in the little triangle shapes around the orbs that you did on the other side.
Oh yes.
That would
that makes this pop even better. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just debating what color do I want to. This is why I like Zentangle more than the adult coloring books, because I have to think. I already have to think too long and hard about what am I going to do. But I was like, well, what color do I want to put in those? Oh, and I just had an idea if I have it handy. But yeah, when you do these orbs, and so because Lynn was asking, what is an orb? So when you do this, and actually the tangle is called tipple, which is just filling in something with orbs. But yeah, filling in the little gaps, either with the same color, or you could do it, could do a different color too, I suppose.
It's just amazing to me how it changes the look of it.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'm looking at the. Just trying to look at the screen. It's like, that is just amazing. And then you also, then it looks professional. So where like here, where I didn't meet the bottom of the of this section, I'm just filling it in. So then it looks like, yeah, I meant that. Mm-hmm.
I decided to outline my middle ones, even though I did shade darkly with the graphite graphic one, and I like the way it looks better.
Oh yeah. You're not on in the evening enough, and I don't know if you were on last time. So there's a couple that I know from Plymouth, and so Tomo, he says, go dark or go home. He's the one. Well, you've remarked on his things, because they're just they're so it's not being afraid of that of adding.
Now it looks
it's just nice.
It has more definition, and I like it a whole lot better. And that you could do that with yours too, Heather.
Yeah.
That middle section, which would you know what? Because then if you outlined all your boomerangs in that middle with,
so you just went on the outside. Okay.
I just did the outside, but if you did all of yours, then that background, it wouldn't look so bare in the middle. But I would start by just doing the outline, if you want to. Only if you want to. But I really like the way it turned out.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do an intermediary step, and I don't have a Fabrico handy. That's okay.
Yes,
I have this gray. I'm going to use the little tip. So this is a Tombow N60. I only have these ones that so I'm going to try outlining all of them. So that would also, we'll just see, because it's going to be darker than using the graphite. And I have another idea for shading, having something shaded.
Well, yeah, you just might want to do the top ones, like you're just like do all of those.
Oh, just do, okay. We'll try that
first. Do you have those in different shades of gray, or just?
I do. I only have these ones in the shades. So when I bought those the tints on tan kits.
Mm-hmm.
Because these came with those, and so these are the only ones that I have. So there's a 60, and I think I have like 3 different. I was going to say flavors. I have 3 different flavors of these. You know, I
That
think the
works.
other reason that I like this tangle is because it looks like it looks like Star Trek insignia.
Oh, you know what? When you said boomerang, the first thing I thought of, which I mean shows my age. I'm old anyway, but I'm going to be even older by the end of the month.
I know.
In my childhood home, when I was
Yes.
a kid, we had in our kitchen, the formica in the kitchen was boomerang pattern
Oh.
in pink and gray. You would have loved it,
Yeah.
Heather. Well,
I'm
actually,
picturing.
I think
Yeah.
that homemade aggravation game board that I pulled
Yeah.
out a while ago, I think that's a hunk of that formica. It seems like that had that pattern. But yeah, that was in the, well, let's see, 50s, 60s, 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, the formica, the famous or the most popular pattern was boomerangs. And then, of
How
course,
funny.
pink and gray was popular too. That was our
Right.
class. That was our high school class colors, was pink and gray.
Huh.
I'm sure the boys loved it.
And as I'm just looking, I'm like, oh, they got this little. See, and this is where I have that does. Oh, look at how neat that looks on the screen. Then I have this little bit over here that didn't get.
Yeah, that's where I messed up with those little bits.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with it now.
Ooh, that looks neat. And then, oh, let's see. Oh, gosh, it is time to show. So I'm going to add a little color while everybody is getting on the screen because I cannot wait. Oh, Anita, well, we'll miss you. Glad that you joined us. But yeah, everybody wants to get on the screen and see what you did. And while you're doing that, I want to add a little bit of, because I decided I was going to use blue. And we'll see how this one looks while everyone's getting on.
Was that a watercolor pencil?
No, it's just a regular
just a regular color pencil.
Yeah, Prismacolor. And
oh, look at how neat.
Oh,
neater
nice.
And neater and neater. Oh, Diane, you went crazy.
Oh, wow.
Joyce, I love yours. Now I recognize you.
I like all of the, yeah, even just filling in that background with the orbs. Oh, how neat. Oh, and Rosemary, lovely. I love those circles and that giant, I don't call it gem dewdrop. That is amazing. Oh my gosh. Wow. Let's see, I have to move my thing. Oh, Monica. Oh, that looks so and then as everyone's getting on, everything is shifting.
I'm giving a silent applause to everybody. Well, the Diane, and now I know how to find their names. And
yeah,
Sherry
you have to move.
Thornton,
Wait here, floating
for doing
hands.
those, and hers sparkles. I see sparkles in there.
Wait, where? Oh yeah, Sherry. Oh,
but
neat,
my applause is for how small you did them, because I would have been blind by then.
Yeah, and say Rosemary, I like how you like doing them around the corner. That is neat. I'm just gonna finish shading in this blue. I love my colorless blenders. So I'm so it's adding a little bit of shading in the opposite direction. Oh, that looks neat on the camera. Oh my gosh. Oh, and Linda said, I'm like, oh, she did her totally. That's so neat.
Are you getting ready to do us?
Goodness. So yeah, so everyone's on and hold them up. Get mine on there. I have one blue.
Now we're getting some more. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Well, at least there's some blue screen. I don't know if that means people are doing it or not.
Yeah. Oh, and Angela. Yeah, we are just finishing up. But I say, oh, and there. Okay, there is Susan. Almost can see it. It's kind of light though.
A little bit closer.
Yeah, a little closer, Susan. Just a smidge.
But not that close. Back up.
Yeah, a little back a smidge.
Too close.
Yeah, I think you used a light pen. Oh, there. Yeah. Yes.
Now we can see it.
Perfect. All right, I got it. And let's see. paste it. Oh, they are just so gorgeous. Nice, nice, nice. We'll say, and the variations are just so neat.
Is Karen working outside? Karen Tobler.
Yes.
Is it that nice outside already?
Oh man.
Oh,
That is
Karen,
so cool.
Karen Tobler, I'll talk to you. I'm cleaning out some files and I came across several books on miniatures. Do you still do miniature work?
Oh, very much so, yes.
Okay, well, Heather's going to have
Yes,
them
you.
for you.
What am I going to have?
Books on making miniature things.
Oh,
Awesome.
yes. Okay. Okay.
Since Karen has the dollhouse that I bought and never finished, she can have the books that I bought and never looked at.
Oh man. So Angela, yeah. See, and since you did log on and logged on late, I'll send the link to this when I have that done. And I saw Inez had to leave. If she's still on, we'll see you later. And and Abby, thanks so much. This was so much fun. Yeah.
Love your class. Love your class and having such a good time learning.
Oh, thanks. Well,
Really
if you can't have a good time learning, then what's the point? That's what I say.
Right.
It's constant learning. Every time you do one, you're learning something. Even if you've done it, even if you've done it over and over.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and then adding some little extra things in, and so I like learning from each other and seeing what everybody does. Instead of yes, we're doing all the same pattern, but I just love seeing what everybody does with it versus let's all make the same picture type of thing, because then we're all enriched. Ooh, I like those.
And again, Heather, you've picked one that I've never done before. So
that's my aim.
Yep. No. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna sign off and go fix lunch. See you.
Okay.
Oh, no, won't see you Saturday. See you in 2
I'll be
weeks.
next. I know.
After. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Oh, Linda, thanks so much. Yeah, that Vanna was neat. We'll maybe have to do that one sometime too. I was thinking about it because I was like, oh, but I just put it out on the for that 100-day project thing. But yeah, that was a really neat tangle that Tanya did, and and then we were talking about shading. It's like, well, let's just play with it. I'm like, well, that's a really cool tangle. Let's just make a little video on that and do the step outs. So much fun. All right, Lynn, good to see ya. And thanks, Kathleen. Oh, so I'm going to shut down the recording. So bye, recording. Thanks to those that are watching it after the fact.